let me secondly say that the purpose of this course is for you to get familiar with numbers. Numbers are for you to program your life. That's it. That's all. We'll get into the background of numbers, what numbers mean esoterically, why you always hear 1111, why you always hear 333. What does these energies mean, and how can you begin to have these things work for you? Numbers are tools. Got you. Okay. Thank you for that, Tirza. Another purpose for this is that these are tools for which you create your life. Numbers are tools for which you create your life. Another purpose that we'll be discussing is how we understand astrology through the minor arcana tarot cards. This is the system that I use to understand astrology, period, end of story. So if you really want to get a numbers chart, if you really want to understand your numbers chart, rather, this is what this course is for. I'm going to give you a chart that you can begin to program your numbers the way that the masters do it. And nobody can program your numbers but you. This is the magic of it. And once you program your numbers, you start to see numbers, you start to work with numbers, the numbers do the work for you. And I'm going to talk about this in this course. You'll be able to fill out your own. Okay. I was watching a live yesterday or today with Dreamwise, and the guy that was on there, he was saying that you can put Mickey Mouse, you can put Goofy, you can put Daffy Duck. Like, it does not matter. You can program your numbers the way you want to program your numbers, and this what this course is about. You just got to know in which realms that they fit in. Ashe 222. We can program that number as well. We're in 2020, right? And we'll explain some things about each and every number. We'll go through it. And this is the value of this course, because within your numbers that you encode, this is activating your DNA. This is communicating with spirits, because a lot of times people will tell you, how do spirits communicate with you? They communicate through numbers. They communicate through time. And the problem is, when we're looking for a definition, we're going to angelnumbers.com, or asking somebody on YouTube or in their inbox on Instagram. What if you already knew what it meant and you didn't have to refer to anybody? That's what this is about. So when I'm talking about arcana, I want everybody to understand that arcana means mystery. So it may not be really, really easy to understand, or it may be easy to understand if you're programmed to seek out mysteries. You need to really understand that a lot of people study this stuff for years and years and years. They go to the schools, they do the initiation, and they still don't understand, because this information is very, very hard to grasp. However, when you internalize it, when you begin to work with it, it does the work for you. So you're not even supposed to grasp it. That's the key. So it's not impossible to learn this. It just takes some effort. It's all about awareness and programming. So I'm going to just go through these courses or these contents. So the first slide, and let me just say, there's not a lot of slides. However, on these slides, there's a lot of information. So when I send these slides to you, save these slides, refer to these slides if you get lost, okay? Because these slides are taken from multiple sources that, in order to get a clear point of view, you have to really be well researched and then understand the correspondences. And once you begin to understand the correspondences and work with the correspondences, you begin to discuss the manifestations, you begin to share. So the minor mysteries or the lesser mysteries are going to be the first things that we tackle. We're going to then relate the minor mysteries to the tree of life. From there, we'll talk about the TETRAGRAMMATON, Yod, Hey, Val, Hey, the numerical value of God, okay? And then we'll begin to apply that to our personal life by understanding that we need to create our own TETRAGRAMMATON, our own 1111, our own 222, okay? And from there, we deal with the energy of MALKUTH. We break the energy of the world around us, our particular perspective that we can begin to carry. And from there, how we begin to manifest. And then finally from there, we'll deal with the minor arcana by the numbers and faces. I'm going to show you guys how it's played out in the chart. And then from there, I'll show you guys how to craft or create your own personal numbers chart. From there, we'll talk about how I use the minor arcana to understand your astrology chart. Like I said, it's a lot of information, so we're going to just deal with it. I'm not going to shortchange you, like I said. And then if you have questions, you need deeper elaborations, feel free to ask during the question and answer phase. If you got 13 questions, we can get to them. KUBERA and the magic squares. Now, this is another version of the tree of life. It's just a different variation. So we'll explain how the KUBERA and the magic squares lead to manifestation. I'll have some personal experiences and we'll go from there. Finally, we'll deal with JAMBHALA and Terra Yellow, which is a correspondence with KUBERA, and just double down it on this manifestation energy. Then finally, we'll discuss Chakra Nova with Prime Harmonic. I'll tell you guys all about my next alchemic academic course, which will be July 18th and July 19th. And of course, there'll be a discount for that. So let us just begin. So as I referenced earlier, the minor arcana or the lesser mysteries are the primal understandings to the workings of our lives. And if we were to be real about it, we are varied in the things that we do. Sometimes we're material, sometimes we're emotional, sometimes we're physical, and sometimes we're passionate. And sometimes we want to manifest things in our lives, okay? So let me also say, because I keep saying, let me first say, and it's like, how many firsts do you got? But let me also say that we need to have a goal in mind. A lot of people, based upon, it's like if you never won at nothing, right? And then somebody says, well, you got to have a positive mindset, or you got to actually know that you can manifest, or you know that you can win. That's going to be very hard for you to do. So what a lot of people will do, will warn you, like before you go into a practice, like, well, don't focus on a goal because you might not get it. And then, you know, you might not be happy with the results or whatever because you're not getting it. I'm not saying that. I'm saying know what you want, right? Know exactly what you want so you can get exactly what you want. That's what I'm trying to say, right? And these are the lesser mysteries. And the more that you know your numbers, the more that you know how and what and where and why to get exactly what you want from an esoteric point. And why is this more important than, say, a financial literacy course, or, and nothing's wrong with that, or going to school, and nothing wrong with that, or starting a business, and nothing wrong with that? Because say, for instance, I go to a business and I'm doing my thing, what can usually happen? A person can say, hey, what you doing here? I don't like what you're doing. Or, you know, you got the rent, or, you know, you got to start to deal with other people, and it throws your manifestation off. So the lesser mysteries are here for you to not deal with no body to throw you off, okay? It's like DNA. DNA is not stepping outside of its nucleus to wave hi to people. It's staying within the nucleus, sending out codes. So what the tarot, or what the lesser mysteries is trying to introduce, is a system of Kabbalah, which means the art of receiving in your hands, okay? Whether you're utilizing your deck as a random oracle, this energy forces you to trigger your subconscious mind into knowing, okay? Whether you're reflecting on the major arcana Kabbalistic symbols, or you're reflecting on the lesser mysteries, the number system, okay? The back door to this whole entire system is to figure out how it's made and why it works. So let's now regress. The whole reason we're having this conversation is based on the binary system, meaning that if it weren't for 2 digits and 2 digits alone, 0 and 1, me, you, and everybody on this live would be unable to have this conversation. Meaning that in the realms of computing In the realms of programming, you're only dealing with two numbers. And through this system of pairs, you're able to manifest all manifestation. You can create a Zoom platform, you can create Facebook, you can create Instagram, you can create a whole Photoshop program, all using zeros and ones. The only thing is we need to understand what our zeros are, and we need to understand what our ones are. So in the realms of astrology, when you teach astrology and you teach elements, one of the things we need to understand is the difference between tangible and intangible, the things that we can hold versus the things that we can't hold. And we need to begin to put value towards the intangible, but we'll talk about that later. So the lesser mysteries are a rudimentary system, a basic system, a foundational system of numbers and elements, which to the observer may seem supernatural, but to the framers, this simple system is just strictly divination and cartomancy. And we have the ability to tap into a level of divinity and a level of prediction as long as we understand the basics of it. It's not magical. That's the thing. A lot of people might look at a tarot card and feel like you need to have some supernatural sense of observation or some clear audience. And not to say that you don't have it, but you don't need it to read tarot cards. You just need to understand the simple system of programming yourself, and then understanding the level of cartomancy, the level of what would some call a random oracle. Random oracle is a level of power because it's just no matter what card you pull, you can say, this is the card, or this is the energy that I need to focus on, or this is what's going to happen today. And if you have that relationship with your cards, that's all that it is. It's nothing special. It's just more of a declaration or a proclamation. So you're able to see the future if you want to. You're able to receive divine wisdom on moving forward if you want to, okay? You just need to understand that numbers are symbols used to represent the true numbers 0 and 1. All of the numerals are just codes, and those codes are encoded by how many ones you have, okay? But every one is carried by a negative principle of 0. You just don't see it. So within everything you see, there's also an invisible 0. And if you understand this, then you can then understand how your numbers can do the work for you, as opposed to you just looking at a number and thinking, oh, that's what it is. Oh, a 5 is a 5, a 6 is a 6, 7 is a 7. It don't mean nothing, then it don't mean nothing. But if a 7 represents Goofy or a 6 represents Mickey Mouse, now you cooking with it, because it represents, you got to understand the numbers are the symbols that represent the sum or aggregate collection of energy that you program it with, period, point blank. And so what we'll talk about is like, so you have the 2 of cups, the 4 of swords and things of that nature. These represent elements or worlds or environments to describe whether an energy is tangible or intangible. So that's just another way of saying, when we program computer devices, we're using a 0 and a 1. But when you program your numbers in your number chart, which we'll talk about, you'll understand where everything is at, okay? And it might sound confusing now, but like I said, we're going to get there. So once you're doing your number chart, we'll get there now. Once you're doing your number chart, you'll see fire and air, you'll see earth and water. So when you're programming your numbers, you'll think about intangibles. And real quick, whether it's love, whether it's happiness, whether it's respect, whether it's camaraderie, all of these things are intangible, but they're super valuable. Because if you're in the space of just simply wanting things, then you can understand why certain things will be really hard for you if you don't have love, but you manifested a relationship, right? So tangible and intangible is like peanut butter and jelly. It don't seem to work together, but they're vital for things to taste good. So I just want to keep this slide up to have you guys work with this slide, post this video to really work on your number chart. Keep these things in mind. If I want something physical, let me keep in mind the actual intangible feeling or passion or mental thought that I want to have as I manifest to keep things in balance, okay? And of course, you'll get your own numerical chart to map out your numbers and what they mean. Excuse me. I'm going to just show you how. So let's just get into the lesser mysteries a little bit more. A part of the lesser mystery or the minor arcana are the kings, queens, prince, and princesses. Okay. And these represent face cards. These represent human energies. And the reason why human energies are important because no one lives in a vacuum. So when you think about your life, you have to begin to think about yourself and other energies around you. The face cards help you identify people's purposes. So whether you have kings represent the path of action or chokma or number 2, queens represent bana, the path of receiving, or number 3, prince, tifereth, the heart or the heart of the matter, number 6, MALKUTH, creation and manifestation, number 10, or princess. Because the princess represents the mother and the daughter, meaning that she can be everything the mother can be and more. That's why the princess holds the most power. I'll give you one better. When you think about like a Disney story and the princess is the main story, because it's just an idea. And then it's also a reminder that young people are unaware of their energy, unaware of their power. When we were younger, we look at our shit and get really cringe because of our unawareness. So we want to also look at how this thing works out with the princess being 1 and 0 or 10 and 1, or the 10s and the aces being synonymous, just different polarities. Like they say hot and cold are the same thing. There's 2 extremes. So manifestation, potential, and manifestation are generally one and the same. So the princess then represents our ability to manifest and our awareness that we're actually doing it, whether we know it or not. Okay. So the numbers go from primordial 0 and then any variation of 1, and they never get off of 1. A 2, a 3, a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is still a 1, just a different variation of the 1. And that might sound hard, but this is how you, until you wrap your mind around this, you're not going to be able to program your numbers. Okay? Because there is only a collection of 1s. That's it. So in the space of teaching us about numbers and mathematics, this is somewhat of a spell without us knowing what the spell is. And I ate some almonds like 2 hours ago. I don't know what's going on. All right. So 56 minor arcana cards is broken up into 36 number cards and 16. Hold on. How does it go? Okay. Ace through 9, that's 40. And then 16 face cards. And that will equal 56. Okay. So 10 numbers, ace through 10. 4 face cards. I had it already for y'all. I forgot. And all of these cards, whether you have the 4 face cards or these 10 numbers, they all align with the 10 Sephiroth. You can see it here. Aces, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5, 6s, 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s. Now, this might seem super elementary, but this is how a spell is created and allowed to perpetuate itself, because they get you when you're young. They teach you numbers, they teach you letters when you're young. So therefore, it's a foundational truth. And to rework this stuff is all that they don't want you to do. Okay. So if you add up all of the numbers in the popular phrase Yad, Hey, Val, Hey, or Yahweh, that equals to 10 in numerology, which helps us understand deeply that there is only one. 10 and 0 is always reduced to 1. It's always reduced to you, Neo. Also, when you look at Yod, Hey, Vav, Hey, you're also looking at the images of God. You're looking at how to program your tetragrammaton, because the etymology for tetragrammaton is a 4-letter word, okay, or a 4-number word. And it's also stated that God has 72 meaning 72 names. And this is just different ways to spell the same exact thing. And what they're basically saying is that you can program yourself in any type of way because there's 72 different ways. You ever heard the saying, there's more than one way to skin a cat? Meaning that if somebody is going to tell you what a number means, they don't have no foundational, no empirical, authoritative person to say that this number means that from the angels, okay? They're making stuff up. So you need to begin to make stuff up as well by utilizing numerology and utilizing a way of programming your DNA. We don't want to just do this in a one-dimensional state or just having, okay, I did it for 10 numbers, I'm good. No, you do it 10 times 4, right? So you can be 4-dimensional. You can see your numbers in many different realms. Your numbers can exist in many different realms, because when you see the tree of life, you might just see this one tree. But when you really study the Kabbalah, there are 4 worlds, okay? And each 4 letters and 4 worlds has a different space. And we'll talk about this in spelling, right? Because we're doing spells the same way you're spelling out your name. So if you don't have no negative energy when you spell out your name, you just spell out your name carefree, right? So when it comes into setting up an intention through numbers and doing a spell this way, I don't expect you to feel any type of tension. I just expect you to just kind of understand the science on how this works, okay? Okay. So initially we have a goal. We have a seed. We have a potential, and that seed is king. Because the only person that knows that that acorn seed can be an oak tree is that acorn. And he has to be so arrogant and so believing in himself that he could be 100-foot tall oak tree. Nobody believes it at first, that that small acorn can be that tree. However, when you program your first digit, this is what it represents, the potential. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a 1, but it has to be a number that represents what you're trying to manifest from a seed level. And there's no way that I'm going to do prayers over my garden. I really do hope that I grow some corn. I you don't really need to. And so the idea with people who tell you that you don't need to really focus on what you're trying to manifest is the same way as you trying to garden, and then the person is telling you, well, if you're trying to plant orange trees, you don't need to worry about if it's orange trees because you're in Florida and you got melanin. So just meditate on the fact that you got melanin and your orange trees will just grow. You don't need to want to have an orange tree. You don't even need an orange tree seed, because you don't know if that orange tree seed is going to grow up to be an orange tree, right? It don't make sense. So you got to have a goal in mind. That's what I bring up that story for. Not to confuse you, but when you're talking about manifesting, you got to know where this thing is going, and you got to be kingly with it. And you don't have to have a particular idea. You just have to have a number that represents this idea. Hopefully that's not confusing. What number represents the potential of what you're trying to manifest? And if you don't know, then this is what the number chart is for. Secondly, He represents duality, Chokmah, and Binah. This represents intelligence and wisdom. This isn't the fact that you need to buy books. This isn't the fact that you got to listen to the wisdom of your grandmama. This is just simply identifying a number that represents the fact of you having this energy covered, right? You understanding duality is queen, because the queen is connected to the king. But what can the queen do when you're playing chess? The queen can go all over the board. So when you playing chess and you see the chess piece, you're not asking the etymology of the queen. You're not trying to figure out where the queen come from, her racial background, nothing like that. The only thing you worried about is that the fact that the queen can move any which way on the board. And this is duality. You don't need to be complicated about what you need to identify duality, but a number. And your number sheet is going to help you pick out that number easy. Or your life, right? Your life is going to help you pick out that number easy, right? Because you know your numbers, you know the numbers that you see every day. Every time I look at the phone, it's 8:23. I see it 2 times a day, in the morning and night. So what is my numbers that I work with? 0823, right? Simple stuff, okay? And it works, okay? So unless you want a real complicated system that's going to confuse you and make you feel like you can't do it, then that'll work too. But this isn't that, all right? So Val represents the causal body. This is what makes it happen. This number makes it happen the same way as when you make love, that's getting it happen. Sex and 6, synonymous, okay? From the heart. When you really love somebody and you really connect it, you don't have to think about it. You don't have to wonder about it. It just happens, right? And certain energies, they have the number 7, right? Religions operate off the number 7. And this is why people join the religion under the energy of 7 and they don't question as much, right? They devout because the energy of 7 holds power. But if you're not using it and if you're not manifesting with it or utilizing its actual dimension of victory, right? Because 7 is Nasach, which leads from 6, all right? I'll explain all of this in greater detail. I'm just kind of setting the table. It's like setting the table, right? When you setting the table, you like, here goes some cranberry sauce. Here goes some turkey. Here goes some macaroni and cheese. Here goes some spinach dip. You know, just all different types of flavors. And then you just come with your plate. Like, I want some of this cranberry sauce. I don't eat cheese. I don't eat meat. You know, that type of deal. Right. So please just, you know, as you get questions, write the questions down. And then sometimes your questions will be answered later. And it's good to just write questions and engage, because this keeps you focused and you're not even going to focus on the time. Right. So pen in hand and paper, you know, that's really important. So finally, the 10 or the 1, because the 1 and the 0, they're together always, right? Whether you see the 0 before the 1 or the 1 after the 0, you might think that 10 represents 10 ones. I got $10. It means I got 9 more dollars than $1. Okay. But that's just an idea. If I called you a perfect 10, you know, you would know exactly what I'm talking about and you wouldn't be counting anything, right? You would be like, dang, that's a beautiful princess. She's a perfect 10. Manifestation. How was it on a scale of 1 to 10? It was a 10, right? Did you count, or did you understand what it meant to be at the level of 10, right? Manifestation. So each digit or each space represents an energy. So you can block out this 10, create a number. Block out this 6, create a number. Block out this 2, create a number. Block out this 1, create a number. And each and every digit responds to you, your personal preference. And then when you see this 4-digit number in various combinations, this is how Spirit's going to communicate to you. This is how you're going to be moving forward. Did we lose sound, family? I hear a dog. We still on? No. I don't know what's going on with the sound. Everything cool, family? Got sound? You can hear me now? Okay. Cool. If y'all lose sound, let me know in the chat because I can see the chat. So when I see something in the chat, just let me know. All right. And just moving forward, as I was saying, just to retort, each number represents a digit, which represents a symbol, but you don't need words, you need numbers. Okay. That represents this God principle. Because when a person says, you know, I believe in God, and then you like, well, where's God at? He's in the sky. He's everywhere, right? And then they'll still say Yahweh, right? What is Yahweh? Yahweh is a 4-digit, 4-letter word. And each digit and each word represents a particular aspect of manifestation. And if you don't think it works, have you been to a church lately? Or, you know, you see it working. And then you see people not going to church because of this particular coronavirus. And to me, that's the indication that this power is now back into the human beings who want to access it. And it's not giving up to the religious institutions, and it's not giving it up to the government agencies as much. Okay. We are now in the realm of MALKUTH. We has always been in the realm of MALKUTH. We just forgot the understanding, and the root understanding of MALKUTH is royalty, royal power, reign, kingdom. Meaning that when you exist in this realm, you are a king, queen, prince, or princess. Meaning that you have power, but not within itself, because MALKUTH exists with a 0 and a 1. And this 0 and 1 is the primordial cause principle that enacts your royalty and your power, meaning that you must stay on your aces. You must stay in your primordial connection of Kether, because you are still that seed. But you don't never disconnect from that root. Right? You never see a tree say, thank you, roots, for having me grow this big. I'm going to disconnect from you and I'm going to move across town. Once it disconnects from the roots, it dies. So when we think about manifestations, we might be focused on one primary thing. I got to start this business. Well, what's allowing you to create that business? The primordial seed. So this is binary code. As long as you connected to the primordial seed or the root, you can manifest anything in your life. There is no guidebook. There is no overseer. There is no intercessor when you're working with your DNA. Your DNA is operating off codes. So when you work with your numbers, nobody's stepping in your way like, hey, you can't do that. You can't manifest that. The example that I gave yesterday, in this world, if I wanted to be a cartwheel expert, nobody can tell me that that's a bad idea. Well, of course they can say it, but y'all not gonna stop me. I'm gonna perfect the cartwheel, because I used to do a cartwheel really good when I was young. I lost it, but I'm about to be a professional cartwheel person. This is MALKUTH. So any idea that you have that you think is like really serious is just as silly as being a cartwheel expert. You have to have fun with this. You have to be creative with this. You have to have a goal in sight. Otherwise, if you're going with the flow, going with the flow does not represent royalty, does not represent royal power. It does not represent kingdom. You have to make the rules. Okay. And so the block is your ability to maybe control or program your numbers with meanings in a full summary. That's what a number is. A whole number has a summary, and we'll get into that when we'll start dealing with the actual numbers and its meanings. Since there is no official guidebook, it is all coded. This course is attempting to demystify the numbers and grasp their esoteric meaning so nobody can step in between you and your manifestations. Instead of you reading books, you create the books. And you utilize your workings every day. Why? Because you're going to see numbers every day. You're going to look at the clock. You're going to look at the date. You're going to spend money on stuff. You're going to get change back. You have so many opportunities to communicate with spirit, but if you don't have a number system, you just looking at numbers thinking, oh, I got 556 back. That could be your whole ancestor saying, hey, girl, do this, do that. But you got to create the language. And I'm going to make a basic structure surrounding the composition of tarot decks. So even more so, once you create this list, guess what you can do? You can have a whole tarot deck, and your tarot deck is going to hit because it's based off a system. Okay? It's based off a system, right? That's why tarot decks hit. You can shuffle the cards, shuffle them, and pull a card, and it relates to something. It has to. Or else you wouldn't even be in the space to even think about a tarot deck, because there's billions of people who could care less about a tarot deck. Something in your spirit is pulling you to particular energies. So in order to understand and implement the power of numbers in your daily life, you need to understand how to program and be aware. When you see numbers, it shouldn't be just, oh, numbers, random, don't mean nothing. Because it can be that, right? However, we trying to get out of the darkness. So out of the darkness, out of the womb of consciousness comes the energy of one. But the one awareness of self, the awareness of life, still no respect. Still no respect. So out of darkness comes the one. And one represents awareness. It represents the human. But the human doesn't understand that he is awareness. And it seeks to exist in the realms of duality. It seeks its opposite. The woman seeks the man. The man seeks the woman, and in variations in between. But somehow, somewhere, you're seeking out another energy. And this creates two. And when two become one, that creates three. That three is a baby. They are united as a family. And this family is now a new entity. And this entity represents the fourth dimension, or the number 4, or the foundation for life. But you still forgetting that this one is awareness. This one is not an external experience. This one is mere awareness. And this naturally creates a crisis at 5 based on the forgotten realization of this initial one. 6 is the return to balance and beauty of duality as it exists. Whenever we need to relax, we can relax in the energy of 6, because this is the energy of we existing in duality, whether we like it or not. The energy of making love, the energy of sex is found in the energy of 6. However, no one knows that there are just more than just this white picket fence of lovemaking. There is actually something spiritual happening, and this is the mystical number of 7. 8 is the alchemical number of transformation and perpetuity. And after much reflection and contemplation on this realization that we can manifest anything through alchemy, we become the one again. But the more supreme and divine one, the 10, which is before us, but not until we end the dualistic experience that come from 9. Finally, we rest in the energy of 10, or oneness, for the first time, but not the last time, because we have to go through this over and over again. And of course, when we discuss these lower energies, whether we're talking about the king, queen, prince, or princess, we'll break that down. But first, let's deal with these numbers as I just explained. So our aces are our 1s and our 10s. Our aces and our 10s are synonymous. Nobody says, I just want a random seed. I don't care what it is. I go with the flow. I just paint whatever. I just plant whatever. Are you in the climate? I'm in Michigan. So if I want to plant orange trees, it's not going to work. I need to know what I'm planting. I need to know where I'm at. I need to know where I'm going. So if you have an ace, which is a 0 and a 1, and you don't know where you're going, you probably stay in this area for a long time. And because this area is so connected to spirituality, you feel good. I go with the flow. However, In order to go beyond the flow, you have to enter into a world of duality, the twos, or Neptune, right? Wisdom. So all of your twos represent wisdom. So when energies are giving you wisdom or you need to pay attention, you will see your twos. And each two represents a deity or an energy even deeper. I'll put it in the chat at some point, or I'll put it in the email, dilemmapedia.com. Dilemmapedia.com. It'll break all of these actual energies down to a science. It'll tell you all of the deities, all of the astrological, like it could get so deep. However, to simplify it, your twos represent duality. It represents energies that opposites attract, right? It might be something completely opposite, but definitely necessary, all right? And you might want to reference the energy of two if you're trying to bring love energy into your life, right? You might be so frustrated with doing love spells and, burning candles that you might just want to write a number 2 down and just rest on that energy. Okay. 3, sex and ancestors, Bana. Bana and Chokma. And very basic understandings, Chokma and Bana are feminine energies. In the major arcana, this is the high priestess and this is the empress, right? The difference between the high priestess is she gonna tell you everything you need to know. She might not be sexually attractive. She might not, be sensitive or sweet and hold your hand the whole time, but she'll tell you, hey, you need to take a left. You need to take a bath. You stink, right? And you might need this. However, the 3s is the type of energy that look really, really good, but get you into a lot of trouble. And sometimes you need that too. We've all had energies for where we wasn't hitting in our relationships. It was just toxic after toxic after toxic, but we was having hella fun. Okay. 2s versus 3s, right? So maybe you try to manifest a boo thing that's trying to spend a night versus manifesting a husband that's trying to spend a life, right? Just understanding the difference between 2s and 3s. 4s is the family, benefit and security, Jupiter energy, okay? Sometimes you don't want 2 or 3. Sometimes you just want the whole thing, right? And this could be job work, career work. A lot of people might say, no, I do elaborate rituals and I go in and I do all of this crazy stuff. And I'll be like, cool, I just focus on particular numbers because I know what the numbers represent. All of these numbers represent a planet. The number don't represent how many ones it is. No, the number represents the planet, right? That's how deep it is. You might not even have the number 4 if it was just based upon arithmetic. It might be a completely different concept. But the energy of 4, the energy of Chesed, it aligns with the energy of Jupiter. Okay. 5s, the problem and the solution. 5s are war solution energies. When you get tested, when you're late on your rent, we've all been there, right? You might do this shit subconsciously, right? In just simply understanding the energy of Gabor. So whenever you need to tap into the energy of 5 or the energy of Mars, it's the energy of Ogum, meaning that it's coming with a solution. And sometimes you really, really need a solution. I bet you there's people right now that really need a solution on a situation and they don't know where to turn. You just turn to the energy of 5. 6s, balance and beauty, Tifereth, the sun. Balance and beauty, Tifereth and the sun. 6s, I like to say sexes or just sex in general, or the heart, or the goddess within. You see how, or Kali. It could be, you can program this 6. I like to program it with all of the goddesses because it's a lot of different goddesses, whether it's Pambagita, You know, all of the goddesses that I work with, they fall in the Tifereth realm. And whenever I tap into the energy of 6, I'm tapping into the energy of goddess. You might be wanting to tap into the energy of gods because you ain't into goddesses. But see how you program your numbers? I'm just giving you an example. 7s, emotional intelligence, Nisach, and Venus. 7s represent our ability to respond, our ability to lead, our ability to be in perpetual victory. There's a reason why you carry the energy of a number 7 when you at a particular job or a particular religious institution, because you want to win. You want your God to be the winner. You want to be the leader. Okay. And this allows you to manifest things. If you don't have a positive aspect, then it's not going to really work out for you. And so when you deal with these 7, I'll bring it up, 7, 8, and 9, this is the intangible realm before manifestation. So say, for instance, you want to manifest something. You need to have the magical mind. You need to have the spiritual reflection, mental moon every day, rise like sleeping on it. And you also know that you got to know that you can get it. You got to be victorious. So if you trying to manifest something and you like, well, I don't know if I can manifest it. I've never manifested nothing before. I don't know. I don't believe what you're saying. That's completely on you, because Lizzo out here making millions of dollars. You think that she's like, well, I don't know if I can actually sing. No, she was actually hitting the road for years and years and years, knowing that this moment was going to come. She knew in her Kether that she was going to be a star. So whatever dark pathway that she took to get here to MALKUTH to being successful, she was willing to take it because she knew she was going to be successful. Another way of like determination, grit, endurance, is in knowing what you're trying to manifest. If I had to rely on people supporting me in anything that I was going to do, it just would have never happened. I had to know that I was going to be successful first and foremost from this primordial point of view. And now that I'm in this actual MALKUTH, and I'm not bragging, I'm just basically saying that in this science, I realized that in the beginning, when I was a child, this was all possible. And every day it's a further affirmation and confirmation that this is true. So creating your number chart for your files, you'll receive a black number chart. I say black, it's going to be black, but it's going to be on a white background. So you can fill in what do these numbers represent for you in each world. So let's talk about the worlds real quick. The material world. So this is just my chart. The chart that I'm going to send you is not going to look like this. I'm just showing you, you can refer to this, but this is just something that I worked with. So say, for instance, I'm trying to manifest a real opportunity. Then I got to already know that I'm going to be abundant and successful. So within all of my numbers, I see it. So say, for instance, I see 823, a slow and steady change of reality. This is the beginning part. 2 and 3, realities merging together, secure and stable environment in a short period of time. Okay. I'm actually working on this energy, trying to manifest magnetism and action, align passions working together, fix ideas that weigh you down, thoughts coming together, opposites attract. And sometimes I put negative shit in my chart to remind me that sometimes I can get caught up in my fixed ideas that maybe I'm not trying to manifest somewhere to live because I haven't manifested it yet. So I'm encoding warnings too. Because I'm looking at all of the numbers for what they represent. So if I have a 5, crisis and solution, these is going to be crisis energies. So when I see the 5, oh, this person might be competitive. You know, it's very much of creating your own list. And me, I'm more of a psychological, metaphysical, esoterical type of person. But I say if you a creative type of person, if you a sexual type of person, if you a financial type of person, you can create money cards, or you can create money numbers, or you can create love numbers. What you trying to manifest? Me, I'm trying to understand myself from an esoteric level. So that's what my chart is for. Making the right decision. I'm real big on that type of stuff. This came from my mind, right? This is just an example. But this is just a model. And maybe you'll get stuck. You'll have this PDF file to help you throughout this process. And also you can always reach out to me. If after this live, after the questions, you can reach out to me, because like I said, I'm saying a lot of words. And maybe some shit is not going to make sense at first. Maybe I'll lose you at a certain point, but I'm really trying to make it clear. That's why I'm making myself available. So when you seek to manifest, understand what numbers you actually focusing on and why. Because if you begin to start working with a number and it starts showing up, you're not going to need angelnumbers.com. You ain't going to need Instagram. You just going to know, right? And since each number is charged with a specific intention, maybe you into money stuff, love stuff, sex stuff, whatever, it's going to happen without you worried about it, because we now activate in our DNA through 4 numbers. You got to understand the power of 4 numbers from the first video. When you deal with DNA, you're dealing with 4 codes, ACTG. And these 4 codes is figured out in your overall understanding of the world. So I said we was going to talk about the worlds, but I didn't. The physical world, material world, or earth, or pentacles, fire, wands, passion without form. Can you see passion? Can you buy passion at the Nike store? No. But when you see it, you can't deny it. Air, mental, form. From thought comes form. Everything that was ever created, from my webcam, from my microphone, it existed in somebody's mind. Okay. And sometimes you need to get those ideas first and foremost before you could even get to the physical world. And once you have those ideas, you might have the ideas. I got so many ideas. Well, you need to tap into earth magic and have some earth numbers. Sometimes you got the ideas. Sometimes you don't have the material. Sometimes you got the resources. Damn, I got $100,000. I don't know what the hell to do with it. Right? I really want to be in love with somebody. Well, have you programmed your numbers? Have you activated your DNA to deal with it? Okay. Simple stuff. Of course, it can be hard. That's why I'm here. So like 1111, which are just ones, or they're just TETRAGRAMMATON, which just represent primordial energies for you to begin to program your seed. Nobody is planting a random seed out here in their garden. People know I'm planting tulips. I'm planting parsnips, planting green beans. But then when we come to manifestation, oh, I don't need to work on or focus on nothing. I don't even really want a man, because I was watching at a YouTube video where it said that you ain't really supposed to want a man if you don't got one, because the problem is you just want a man too bad and you repelling them. That's like saying I want a cherry tree, and the problem with me planting cherry tree seeds is because I want a cherry tree so bad. Well, duh. If I want a cherry tree, I'm gonna plant a cherry tree. If I want money, I'm gonna work on money magic. If I want love, I'm gonna work on love magic. It shouldn't be that hard. If a person's not telling you how to manifest from an esoteric level, it's like, no, you got to go to a high priestess first and get blessed. And then she wants you to spin around in a circle 9 times and then eat some baking soda till you cough. But you got to cough 9 times. If you don't cough 9 times, then Orisha say you can't get your blessing. Sorry. But we'll take your $500 though. Okay. This is just something different. So this slide is just for you if you want to create a tarot deck so you can understand the face cards more. It's going to be a part of your worksheet that you can begin to work with, because I really want to see you guys create a tarot deck. I want you to take both of these courses, put them together, understand how a tarot deck is created, and I want y'all to use your imagination to come up with a tarot deck so I can promote it on my website so we can make money together. I can't draw for nothing, but hopefully somebody on this live can draw, or somebody that's hearing this recording can draw it and come up with one of the coldest tarot decks in the world. I've been trying for years, but now I'm putting the information out so we can all come together and know what a tarot deck is, how a tarot deck is created, because that's probably the blockage. So this site, this ain't really for number magic per se, but this is understanding the face cards. So a king, like I said earlier, a king just know he a king. He's aware that he is divine. Can you buy divine at the Nike store? No. Can you buy power at the Nike store? No. Maybe Gucci? No. So the queen is tangible awareness. What did we say about the queen? She can move all over the board and still be married to the king. So she's aware that they divine, plus she can go everywhere and anywhere. The knight is intangible awareness. So knights represent air, which is mental. And if you can put your mind in an adolescent boy and think about the thoughts that he having and all of the stupid stuff that he think about, it's just a waste of time. So you a young man and you got all of this potential to be great, but all you can think about is watching Cinemax. Okay, you're unaware of what moves you, lack of mental focus, and these is what these cards represent. The princess is the tangible unawareness. Innocence can also be a block to divinity because you're much more than that child. You're much more than the little girl that your daddy say you are. You my little girl. You my little baby. You'll always be my baby. No, she's not. Be a grown-ass woman out here twerking on Instagram. Stop playing. All right. So this is just like a roadmap. When you want to create your own cards and understand your own energies, you could just use this left column to give you a deeper understanding. However, if you want to talk about this like one-on-one, like I hear you, but it's a little bit vague, you can email me. I love talking about this stuff, and I love making it plain. I love making it make sense to people. So that's perfectly fine if you don't get it all right now. I'm here. So this is what I use to understand astrology, whether it's sidereal, whether it's Western astrology. It's more of a divination system based upon decan astrology. Some people view astrology as having 12 signs. Other people view astrology as having 36 decans. And it's called decan astrology. And if you understand decan astrology, then decan astrology perfectly aligns with the minor arcana tarot from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. And then we have the outer realm of the face cards of just the prince, knight, and the queen. This is the human realm. So humans are not one-sided. We all got a little bit of this and a little bit of that, right? So this is the human realm. Outside of this is the manifestation realm. But as we talked about in exhaustion, right? The seed and the tree are together for life. For life, Holmes. You're never gonna get away from your intention. And if you don't have an intention, you're gonna struggle with manifesting. The same way if you don't know what seed you planting, you're gonna be mad when you get a whole zucchini and you wanted broccoli. Should have bought the right seed package. So I'm gonna just go through this as quick as I can in the area of realms. So and this is 12 sign astrology, and this is a Western way of looking at it. However, you can go to astro-seek.com and you can get a sidereal map, and it's shaped just in this fashion, and these same rules apply. Okay, this is what I use. I use a sidereal map from astro-seek.com first off and foremost, and from there I can dive deeper, but I start off with a map like this just to give me some initial flavors. Okay, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, the energy of disc. And if you look at it from a housal perspective, first, second, and third house is our beginning phases of life. It's the manifestation. It's the creation of life. It's the actual seed, you know, daddy and mommy making love, to look at what you got. Little tink tink, right? And of course, we not taught none of these grades. We taught grades based upon a German understanding, kindergarten. I think that's, you know, basic stuff. And so these beginning areas are very difficult, except the first energies of, like, when you're a baby, you run the world. You right, my little kid, John, he be running this whole entire house. And then something happened where you have 5, 6, or 7 of this, and you look at the 5, 6, or 7 of this, these are difficult cards. Except the energy of the 6 of this, which is success, but then it goes right back into darkness with the 7 of this. You thought you were successful. You know how it is when you think you winning when you 12 or 13, you think you figured it out. Then here come high school and you a freshman, back to hell. Okay, and this is all high school, 8, 9, 10 of swords. And I'm not getting deep into the cards. You can look in these cards if you want. You will get the same type of message. These is dark cards. Growing up is hard, especially if you're not taught about your spiritual nature, which most of us aren't, because who knows, right? And from there, you get out of high school, you enter to the realm of passion, the realm of the wands. You start dating, you meet your high school sweetheart, you meet your college sweetheart. 2 of Cups is love. And then all the love making, you in the energy of abundance, because you got all of that energy from adolescence trickle into your 20s is on and popping. Even more so, you already know. You already know it's on and popping. And what else happens in this passionate stage? Because you in college, you figure out what you want to do every day. 8 of this. And you start making a little coin. This is generalizations. This is how Western society wants you to think. And it's all encoded in the numbers, all encoded in the element. So when you hear people, they have a similar story. The same way, if you was in an island somewhere, you wouldn't have this similar story. You'd be like, no, we eat coconuts and, you know, baboon ass sometimes when we want to eat meat. And you like, baboon ass? You weird. No, you weird, because you following a whole archetypal system thinking that this is the end all be all. And I tell people this all the time. I don't teach astrology so you can be under it. I teach astrology so you can be over it and understand the system. So figure out what you're going to do. 8 of this, 9 of this, you think you making money. 10 of this, you think you made it, right? And you got your relationship and your boo, but then the energy of emotion start happening once you cross into this 7th, 8th, and 9th energy. And if you have the alchemical tools to deal with depression, to deal with heartbreak, to deal with people who not being honest with you, to deal with disappointment, if you can survive this, now you realize everything is pleasure. Because what is 6s? 6s are a return to balance and beauty. This is the alchemical energy of 8 or Scorpio. See, you could say 8 or you can say Scorpio. It's the same thing. It's not 8 ones, because that don't really exist. This Kabbalistic system exists before our alphanumeric system that we know called English. That's why it's so powerful, because our English system is based upon this. It's based upon the astrology. What do you think came first? Us saying English or the stars? What do you think came first? And so since we don't know this mythology, since we don't know this story, it continues to reign over us. So I gotta be to work by 8. I gotta be to work or I'm gonna be late, right? So the seven of cups from the 6 of cups, pleasure, is the idea that you can actually be more, do more. And eight of passion, 8 of wands is fast action. The 9 of wands is spiritual strength. The 10 of wands is the realizations that you're in an oppressive system, and now you have to create a new world. Swords, the world of formation. When you're trying to manifest new energies, Capricorn, 2 of this, 3 of this, 4 of this. Use all 3 of the energies, 2, 3, and 4. Put them all together. What that get? 9. 9 is completion. You could do this all day, and it'll always make sense, because that's why the system exists and why the system works. You can't create a system and it don't work and it don't apply, right? Because that system ain't valid. So once you begin to create your new world from Capricorn, you have to now deal with the energies of Aquarius and Pisces. Now, Pisces astronomically is aligned with the energy of Cetus. And Cetus is a sea monster, meaning that if you can deal with all of the scary emotional stuff and then refine yourself from the 9 position where you're complete and satisfied in all that you are because you work this alchemical process, then you get to rise up, right? You're completely satisfied with this humanity and you want more. So you rise up and you hit this center point, and none of this shit matters because you create as you speak, you create as you think. But say, for instance, at any of these points, you get hung up and you lose sight and you give up and you just have no negative programming. You don't have no negative resolve. Guess what happens at this energy when you deal with the sea monster? Y'all know what happened when you play the game and you can't beat the level boss. You start your ass all over again. Reincarnation. All of this is in these numbers. This is why I'm teaching it. So you can get off this shit and create your own patterns and your own pathways so you don't have to rely on no system beside your personal divine will. Another way of doing this is the magical square of KUBERA. KUBERA is the god of 72. Like I said, God has 72 names. So God has 72 names. That means that when you actually utilize all 72 names, you tap into a power. But do I have to write out every single name? Or do I have to write out 72 in 72 different ways? I'm going to try the second way. So this magical square is easy. You take numbers from 20 to 28 and you write them out. That's the easy way. But I did it a different way because I got the okay that it was okay to do it this way. I created a magic square using my own personal numbers. Not all of them, but just this first corner, this second corner, and this third number, I made numbers up. And then I played Sudoku to make everything add up to 72. And instead of trying to get 72, I just made this row. So this digit, 7, 0, and 5, that equal 12. Carry the 1, 2, 2, 2. That's 6 plus that 1, that's 7. So 7 and 2, right? And I did that the whole way. I just did one digit at a time. Once I had my initial numbers, this is the new way. Certain energies get old and you got to reinvigorate and do it differently. A lady just told me yesterday she ain't want to do 72. She wanted to do 63 because 6 and 3 is 9. I said, you right and exact. You got a magic square with 63. I bet you that worked for you, right? Because this is the hidden side of the number game. It's stated that if you create the magical square, you will experience an upkick in business. You need to have some form of business, though. It might not be a raise, or it could be a raise because we still dealing in the realms of magic. But maybe develop a side hustle, develop an affiliate marketing business, do something outside of what you regularly do work with the magic square, or maybe you don't know what to start. Begin to work with the magical square for an idea. But once you create this magical square, you will notice the benefits right away. And this was kind of a lot of questions surrounding this part and the question and answer part yesterday. So I'm here for it. Okay. But just to give you a little bit of background, Kubera is the golden lord of wealth, and this is in Hindu mythology. He is invoked for protection and wealth, and he has been invoked for thousands upon thousands of years. The story goes that he was a demon, but in order to actually become a god, he had to perform austerity for 1,000 years. And so to work with this Kubera magical square, you have to begin to work with it for 72 days. That 72 days will equate to 1,000 years if you just do it. So once you actually utilize these numbers 20 through 28, if you want to do the basic realm, it'll equal 72 no matter where you go. Diagonally, horizontally, everywhere you look, it equals 72. You can do the math. And once you place this on your altar, you want to place it on your altar for 72 days, because 72 days is 1,000 years in Kubera time. And also you want to put an amulet, whether you have a necklace, whether you have a charm, whether you have a crystal. I got some quartz crystal bracelets. And I'm charging the quartz crystal bracelets on my magical amulet. So after 72 days, I'll always walk around with this energy. I've activated the energy of Kubera. Now I'm just giving game, because we all be wanting little financial upkeeks and things of that nature. And once I did my square, I can bear witness. It is true. Once you do the square, your money will start to flex out for you. And I wasn't doing bad before I did the square, but I'm doing much better. So I'm just saying, don't be acting like, well, I got it, I don't need no extra. No, man. we ain't reached the Billy status, and that's what it's talking about. It's talking about major financial upkicks. Major. So maybe you limit it to yourself in thinking that, oh, I don't need it. Maybe you don't need it, but you need to not think about yourself and think about all the people that you can help if you had an abundance of resources. So you've always wondered why some Arabs have a square with Arabic numbers at their register. I just explained why they have it there. I've never seen that, but that's the reason why, because it's working for them. They're making money. Okay? They're making money. That's why it's there. And they wouldn't have it there if it wasn't making money. You might feel like it's superstition, right? Which I felt like it was mere superstition, but then I actually created the square. And I'm a believer. I'm the client and the president. Get you a magical square. If it don't work, I'll give you your money back. Oh, how much it cost you to make it? Nothing? Oh, the hell you waiting on? Okay. JAMBHALA and Terry Yellow with the divine binary code to wealth. So JAMBHALA is just another energy of Kubera. Kubera and JAMBHALA is the same types of energies, but as these energies come together and transform, they come up with new rules and they come with new introspection. So where you have regular computers, we now into the realms of quantum computing, meaning that the binary code has expanded. And as the binary code expanded, so does your DNA. They say you have 2 strands of DNA, but you actually have 12 strands of DNA. When you begin to work with these magic squares, when you begin to meditate on this Kabbalah, just by having these conversations, it's actually allowing your DNA to heal. And I'm just hoping that you continue this energy post this video. Because if you continue this energy post this video, then you'll be able to constantly stay in this realm of DNA activation. And it's not like you have to maintain it. You don't have to micromanage your manifestations. You just program it with your numbers by filling out your number sheet or doing your magical squares. Because this overall study is the beauty of numbers and magic. Everywhere you go, you see numbers. So this energy can help you in ways that you can't predict, but you can also predestine. Because why? You have a seed. I'm sure nobody is telling you this in the realm of manifestation, because I hear people, well, you don't really want to focus on what you want to manifest because you might not get it. Look at my mind. You know what I'm saying? Understand that you can load your numbers and program them for your personal and or collective benefit, and understand it's only as hard as you make it. It might seem impossible to take a little seed and grow a whole corn stalk, but that shit go down every single year, as impossible as it sounds. So this energy is a wealth-giving energy. And we want to tap into the energy of wealth, because the energy of wealth is found in numbers. You could wake up tomorrow and see those numbers be drastically increased on your bank account when you tap into this energy. See, there you go, Terza, making a square with bamboo plants with a money tree in the middle. That's powerful. That's hot. It's all about in the realms of creating the spell. So however you choose to spell, how extravagant you choose to spell, I'm here for it. Because the energy and effort you put into making your square is all of the work that you need to do. Doing these squares allow fertility, wealth, and material comforts in abundance. Another way, and this is just some additional game, offer water daily. It's power in offering water daily and calling out your ancestors by name. Grandma such and such, Uncle Larry, Jermaine, you know, all of these people that have passed away that you know by name, call them out and offer water. Because when you offer water, that's like offering them millions of dollars. Because they can use water in the astral realm. They can't use ancestor money. They can't use your food. They can use your food somewhat, but not really. They can use your liquor, but they can definitely use your water. Okay. Also, good deeds and donations. Give money to people that you like. Donate to people. Don't be guilted into it. Do it out of love. Man, I love what you're doing so much. When you see people that look attractive, give them money to their Cash App. Don't just look at them and be like, oh, you so beautiful, and keep it moving. If they move you to a point, offer that, because there's no real reason that these people truly exist. They could be goddesses, and those goddesses could take those offerings and triple, quadruple your money. I gave somebody $30 and I got $6,000 within 2 hours. Okay. $6,000 in 2 hours when I gave this young lady $30 because she asked me for it. I thought she was about to ask for $300. She was like, oh, I don't want to, please, but you know, okay, can you send me $30? I'm like, shit, I'll give you $30. Shit, I don't care. That quick. So why I say offer the water daily and give donations, because we don't know who people are. We do not know who people are. You can make the mistake to think that a person is not a transition loved one or a deity or a god if you want to. But really understand that these energies are existing and the veil is done, especially when you deal with Kabbalah and you access all 10 numbers and you understand that all 10 numbers represent a planet and a seed. There is no veil, okay? The veil is in your ignorance. Hopefully this conversation removes some of this ignorance and you're able to move forward with deeper understanding of how to encode your DNA, because that's the only thing we got going. The DNA don't need to move about throughout the city. It sits within your inners and just sends out codes, and you can send your DNA codes through numbers, and this provides the abundance, fertility, and prosperity. Terra is the cosmic womb, the zero, and JAMBHALA or KUBERA, the Lord of Wealth, is the eternal one. These are consorts of one another. Love making, right? This is divinity. This is the 0-1. This is the binary code. This is black magic. This is all that, you know. And from that, when you really rest in this cosmic womb principle, fertility, wealth, longevity happiness, wisdom, praise, and overall quality is something that you'll always strive for. Nobody is there yet, but we're all collectively getting there in our own little way. But we have to understand that this energy relies on pairing. And pairing is how you activate your DNA. And all of these things are right before us at this present time. You just have to have the present mind. Okay. So that was it. That was it in a nutshell. I just want to tell everybody about this chakra nova that we got popping, me and Prime Harmonic, July 18th and July 19th. Okay. We're going to be talking about real techniques in psychology to activate your root chakra. And a lot of people don't understand how powerful it is to activate your root chakra. Let me give you a quick example. The same energy that you use to grow trees, you just plant your seed in the ground. You just plant it in the ground, but there's an energy that takes hold of that seed that allows it to grow and germinate and be something different. Well, you can do that by grounding and actually utilizing your glands and your muscles and all of these actual exercises to activate that root chakra and activate that abundance of energy that allow you to create whatever it is you put your mind to. Okay. And also with this course will come a 4-week journal so you can monitor the effects of activating your root chakra, because it's easy to talk about it for a 2-hour period. But then once you leave the class, it's completely out of your mind. So we're going to give you a 4-week journal to keep track. And also for your records, right, there'll be a 20-minute guided meditation by my man, Prime Harmonic. Okay. And of course, if you want to sign up for this class, let me know. Email me, hey Hood, I signed up for one of your classes and I signed up for another one. Can I get that discount? Just send me your Cash App and I'll send you $10 off of every class you sign up forever. And even if you skip the root chakra and you want to sign up for the sacral and you only signed up for this class, it don't matter. Because I'm not here for the money. I'm here for the information. I'm here for the channels, and I'm here for people who got ears to listen. Because what you'll hear is that everything that you'll hear me saying, you'll hear another person saying in a different way, but it's not like we all dealing with the same energy. It might be the same spiritual energy that's raining down and is leading us to speak in this fashion. So following the root chakra energy activation, we'll do the sacral activation energy, but we'll have a goddess leading us in a guided meditation. I haven't figured it out yet, but if y'all know a sacral chakra goddess, please let her know that I'm trying to give her some money to help raise us up. So yes, if you're interested in becoming an astrologer, please sign up for Spiritual Ascension University. If you're interested, email me. I'll talk to you more about that. And I just really want to thank everybody for joining me. I am going to do a question and answer period, but I have to